of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stop that, since you all can't tell.
I thought maybe you had a
Chris.
bearing plan or something.
I won't go. Thank you. Start with the public hearings for the budget, the 2012 proposed annual budget. Any comments? Stay in the crowd, you know. I guess we'll close the public hearing for the 2012 proposed budget. Next,
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes of the October.
no, we have
No, we're not.
We
You got
got
another one?
three more.
Yeah, 3 more.
Oh, you're gonna
Public
do
hearing
them, oh,
for the-
okay, you're gonna do them
They gotta
separate.
do separate. For the Chazy, West Chazy Fire Protection contracts for 2012. Any comments? We'll close the public hearing on the Chazy, West Chazy Fire Protection contract for 2012. Next is the proposed budget for the sewer district, for the Chazy Hamlet Sewer District for 2012. No comments? We'll close the public hearing. This is easy.
We're gonna be out here.
And the 2012 Chazy Hamlet Water District public hearing for the budget. No comments? We'll close that public hearing. And I guess we'll open the regular meeting.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes as presented by the clerk in the October 11th meeting.
I'll second that.
Councilor Trombley made the motion that the minutes of the October 11th, 2011 regular town board meeting be approved as submitted by the town clerk. Seconded by Councilor Devens. Roll call, Councilor Lattimore,
Yes.
Councilor Devens,
Yes.
Councilor Trombley.
Yes.
Councilor Dino,
Yes.
absent. Supervisor Spiegel.
All right. Next, Bill, you wanna go?
Yeah, I'd like to report to the board about the boundary line issue we have out at the town highway garage property. It's been several months, but it was discovered in some survey work that was done on that property that our actual use of the property encroaches on our westerly bound about 100 feet into property owned by the Minor Institute. We contacted them, wrote to them a few months ago, and, you know, they listened to what we had to say. They would like to enter into a boundary line agreement and obtain title to that additional 100 feet that we were actually using. They were receptive to the request, but it's been several months, and Kurt Beatty just got back to me last week, and I apologize for the delay, but explained why. Apparently, when Minor Foundation deeded property over to the Minor Institute, they had a reverter clause in the deed, so that if it was no longer used for institute or educational purposes, the Minor Institute would have to, or title would revert back to Minor Foundation. So they discovered that when we were making the request. They had to go, Minor Institute, request Minor Foundation to sign off on that reverter, and all of that has been in the works. And it looks like the last meeting of Minor Institute or Minor Foundation, I guess, I'm not clear on that at this point, but it will be mid-December. And we should be able to then do the deed and get the 100 feet. Everything's positive, they were very good to work with. I was mentioning that Chris was familiar with the area, and one of their concerns is there's some area, and I guess it's north now, the highway department property, but that used to be an Italian labor camp.
Right.
Italian camps that were part of the Minor Foundation when they were developing all this property. They just want to make sure that that, you know, isn't part of what they're deeding away because of the historical value. I guess we're certain that that's not part of 100 feet, so it shouldn't be a problem. He asked us to flag the line, so they could actually, if anybody of the trustees and minor institute would wanna go out and look, they'd be certain as to what land was being deeded over. And Susan has contacted her surveyor or Tim about that, and that's being done. So we're in good shape on that, and that should work out, or resolve that boundary line issue. Good on the west. Later, we can talk about the north. Well, I guess they, again, good neighbors, but might be a slight area that we're encroaching on the north as well, but there's no structures or anything.
From
Just-
miners also?
Yes.
And which area, Bill?
On the north side as well.
Oh, in the back? Well,
Yes.
that'd be toward the Italian camp.
They would be towards the Italian camps, but
Well-
still a good distance from them, though, I
Well, it's
Yeah.
on the east side of it, so.
anyway.
What was
That's
that,
all.
Chris?
It's on the east side of where the Italian camp is.
Yeah.
I forgot, Sam, did you have anything you wanted to public comment? No? Okay. All right. Tim?
Got Ingraham roads all paved, that's all completed. The truck that bought from down at Blacksburg was completed today, it's out in the parking lot, I drove to Redmond to see out there.
Oh.
One that we purchased from down at Blacksburg. All the trucks are harnessed up, ready to plow. We put a bunch of snow fence up this year. We doubled what we put up last year, hoping it's gonna save us in overtime and fuel, sand, salt. We got a lot of salt because of the way it worked out with salt storage building going in. We got a surplus of salt this year. Got 350 ton in the building, I put in the building, so we'll be pretty good with that. I've got sure for next year. But we can make our sand a little richer with salt, so we don't have to go out as much. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Everything's going good.
So where is the snow fence? What roads were they put on?
We just a bunch on Lake Shore, some on Reynolds, some on Dunn, some on Angeville, some on Fisk Road, some on West Church Street. There's gonna be some up on Atwood,
Ketchum Bridge, did you put that one up?
put some up on Ketchum Bridge.
How about on the ridge in the Minor Farm? Are you gonna put any there where?
We're gonna go on Minor Farm, but we gotta wait until they're done, cause they're running that gas line and everything,
Okay.
going around in the field there. So we gotta wait until they're done, but we put quite a bit more up. And
Now, is there anything that the general public should do if there's a problem with the snow fence? Like if it gets blown over, or should they notify you? or-
notify highway department, but we watch them pretty good. Well, the guys go out do their plow route, they're always watching and make sure that they're up and, but we've had a lot of good luck with them, so
Yeah.
figured that the money you spend on them, you're saving that fuel and manpower and everything, so. We put quite a bit up. All right, we're good.
Chris? Just a few items. First of all, I'd like to congratulate all the candidates on their campaign trail. The next thing I have, as far as if we have any word on the West Chazy playground equipment, has anybody gotten back in touch with you, Jerry, or?
No, I was waiting for you guys to go look to make sure that,
Oh, I didn't know that.
I went and looked at it
that we wanted it
to remove it.
to
You wanted me
remove
to
it,
go up
yeah.
and see
That
it.
was where I thought we left it at the last meeting.
I was not aware of that. So you wanted all the board members to go?
Well, not even, well, just to make sure we wanted it and how Sal was gonna, I thought Tim was supposed to go look at it and see how
I did.
difficult it was to,
What's very,
you thought to remove
I
it.
can remove it.
not a problem?
They got poles that big and it's cement that big around, but
Right,
that isn't gonna bother us, so we'll just pull it out the back hole and
so I mean, I'll definitely move forward with it now if we,
Okay.
Okay, so is that what you're asking, is each board member to go and take a look at it?
oh, you can if you want, but I thought it was, Sal was gonna go and have Tim look at it just to
Make sure we could remove it.
it was gonna be
yeah.
something that we could actually remove and,
Okay,
you know, put back in without too much of a hassle,
okay,
so. But I'll definitely move forward with it now.
okay.
No, if we get it, it will be going into the West Chazy Park.
Right.
The next thing that I have as far as
Sure.
handle that?
2 out of the 3 banks, we have sufficient information. The 3rd bank, the gal has been out on extended sick leave. I was gone last week, so therefore I haven't acquired. I have talked to the bank. They are acquiring the information. We should have it probably by the first Monday or Tuesday of next week.
So are we gonna have to have a special board meeting to, make a decision what direction we're gonna go? Is that what? That's what I said to Sue, or if they gather the information and stop and even email it to us, or, you know, or get together, you know, and make a decision on it, so they can move, because I would imagine it's gonna be quite a bit of paperwork. Yeah.
I've
You know,
I've talked to
ordering
one bank and they can,
checks and, you know, all that stuff.
it'll take place before the first of the year, but we're running close.
Mhm.
So that's why I think, you know, I'll have that information, the analysis done by next week.
Okay.
It was just a combination of, I was out on vacation, this gal was sick, and I have somebody else in her place doing the job now.
Okay.
So it was,
Good.
you know, a combination of things.
But it looks like,
Looks
I
good.
think, there's 2 of them that look good,
Yeah,
I
two
think,
are
right now.
standing out right now.
That's good.
So,
That's what we like to hear.
And it would be profitable for us to,
Well, there's, no more interest given on our current bank, which is, they aren't gonna charge us anything for ACH and processing of checks and that, but the other banks, all 3 are willing to give us a low rate of interest. Some other couple little perks that are in there, along with the interest. But
Once you get it all together, we can.
yeah, I have an analysis sheet set up, and then once I have the final
once you
information,
have that, we can.
everybody can be given that without really getting into names.
Okay. Yep.
Okay,
That's perfect.
Thank you.
very good.
The new vault, has any of that construction phase started, and where do we stand with that at this point?
On the vault, Dave has been working a lot on it. I haven't been in it this week myself. We do have a door ordered for it, so once that door comes in, the phase, you might know a little more than I do on that. No, okay. The new door will then enter into our kitchen area, and the rest of the building will be sealed at that point. And so, it's in a,
He's working on putting in the cement flooring.
oh, is that what he's doing right now?
He had to take off the outside door.
I know you can tell there's been work done on that, so.
Yeah,
He took because the floor is gonna be up into the door, so you have to take the door off, so he has to just nail it shut when he's not working, when he's gone, and reopen it when to work. And of course, he's gonna keep it that way to draw in any sheet rock and anything else he has to bring in there. Until, say, coming through the main lobby of the door.
But he, you know, that was the building maintenance room. That has all been moved into the garage. He's completely set up in there right now.
Yeah.
So that phase of, I mean, it's over 50% progress, because you had to transform one section of a building into another section, and then literally gut the old maintenance office area.
Do you think it will be done by the next meeting?
Oh, no.
No.
No, you gotta pour cement, and
Oh,
you
okay.
have to put in, 3 sheets of fireproof sheet rock, then you have another stud and 3 more sheets of fireproof sheet rock, and then finishing it off. There's quite a bit. It's gonna
He's
be
only working
several.
on it
Electrical.
in between other
Sure.
jobs,
Yeah.
when he's got spare time.
Yeah.
Like I told him, I says, I've been going out the doors since 1990, once
Yeah,
another year.
what's another year, huh?
It's been longer than that when you were doing it.
For me, 1990.
yeah,
The flushing of the hydrants, is that gonna be done one more time, or is it done for the season?
No, if the weather holds like it has been, we're gonna try and do it probably towards the end of this month again.
Okay,
We've been fortunate.
okay. And, I guess that covers everything, and just wanna wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Congratulations to all the candidates also. Just a few things, I'm not sure if you can even help me with this, but the hydrant of the Amazing Grace, has that been installed, or
The valve,
the valve, or whatever?
or
There's
flush.
been a little bit of, I guess, controversy on that. Amazing Grace, my understanding is, and I might be wrong, has decided not to want that installed, or not to have that installed. Right now, we had
What's
to
your
go up
reason?
and, because I wasn't here last week, Bucket,
Oh.
I don't have all your answers for you, but I can get them for you.
Mhm.
We had to go up and change out a meter today, because we found out our meter was faulty. We checked on their backflow valve. That was indicated to us that it was leaking, and both Daves agreed that it wasn't leaking. And that's kind of where I know right now. I'll have to, it's called, I think they call it a hydrant pump outside for flushing of the line, and
That's what you said,
yeah. But I'm not sure that's gonna happen, but I'll have to,
Now, I know you were out, so you don't know, but who decided that that hydrant pump is what was necessary to solve the problem? Was that decided by Dave?
well, I
Or
think it was a combination of the plumber who was there and Dave, because they said they were getting sediment, but when they went up, Dave went up last week while I was gone, and they couldn't find any sediment coming out of the meter or in the backflow area. And I think that's when they were discussing whether or not to put the hydrant pump in. Because if there's no sediment coming through.
But what,
The other thing is, if you put a hydrant pump in, you're gonna have to lock it, because that will just, you can open that up
Right.
and you're not going through the meter.
Right.
And I think it's also something to do with the location where it needs to be.
now, how has their water been?
As far as I know, fine. I haven't heard any complaints, I haven't had any, letters or, phone calls.
But it was originally though, it was a complaint.
Right.
Or anything, Kathy?
Which started.
No,
Until
I
sediment,
just,
yeah.
I think we had remedied the problem,
Right.
so.
And Dave asked me to go up and put it in with him, then he turned around, got back to me, said he weren't gonna do it because where the hydrant had to go is in the middle of your vineyards. They didn't wanna get in there with a big backhoe ripping and tearing it.
So they're the ones that
I
didn't want to have it
said,
done.
oh, you know, we'll live with it or something because, I mean, you gotta get in there with the backhoe to dig it and everything. It's
Right.
right in the middle of where their vineyards are and everything, and they didn't wanna get into that, so.
Didn't want to disturb.
So what should we do in a situation like that, Bill? I mean, they sent a letter of complaint as far as that there was a problem with their water. We're trying to rectify it, but now the homeowner is saying, hey,
Or just so, depending on what really is being decided.
Yeah.
is If they're in agreement with it, just send a letter confirming that, we understand that you're withdrawing your previous complaint, that, and that you're at this point just withdrawing it, I guess I'd confirm it in writing.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
If,
but is there anything that they could hold the town responsible for down the road?
no, not if they're the
Not if
ones that
they-
are saying we're withdrawing our complaint. I mean,
Yeah.
that happens all the time. I mean, if the solutions aren't acceptable to them or whatever.
But we should definitely get something in writing then.
I don't think it has to be in writing from them as much as confirming something. You could send a letter.
Right, that's what I'm
right?
saying.
Yeah, and get some communication,
Yeah.
Some respond.
written verification of it,
Yeah.
right? That we're just writing to confirm.
Right.
Obviously, it'd be okay, it'd be better if they're writing confirming they're withdrawing the complaint, but if not, just something in writing from.
Well, at
to
least
them
if they don't
confirming.
respond to it, then
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
that they accept
That'd be, I think that's sufficient.
Okay. Do you know if the reed beds have been done? I know we were talking about that last time.
Yes, we are working on them. I believe there's 3 reed beds, and I believe the middle one's been done, and we're starting to work on another one.
Okay. Anything from Pfizer?
None of
Nothing.
that I've heard of.
Okay. And other than, Amazing Grace, no other water and sewer problems, pretty much
No,
Sometimes.
that is cool.
Is this one? Was that taken care of?
Not yet,
I,
no. If this one isn't taken care of, it goes on the eleventh.
okay. That all.
Okay, so, thank you.
Okay, right. I think they pretty much covered everything. Stopped in here anymore on the sewage, building.
You mean the
The
building
roof.
that we're
He
gonna
was supposed to get,
plans?
yeah,
We do have some plans in the office. He must have put them somewhere. They were on her chair, but I'm not sure where they are right now.
yeah. No, but anyway, he got,
But we did get the
Response.
plans and they were stamped,
Okay.
so they're all set to go. I
okay.
think because he was leaving and going out of town, he just didn't start the process yet.
Okay,
There's probably nothing that's gonna happen.
Till next summer.
well, they're,
Yeah. I mean,
well, they pretty much covered everything here, other than congratulating the winners in the last election. And, looking to another successful year. Other than that, I think, you got any more, Jared? Yeah, I'm sure you're gonna cover some.
Not that much, really. Is there anything else you have, Sue, that
No.
isn't on here? No?
Oh, did you get your motors in?
Mm.
You ordered the motors for the
Was it?
new pumps?
I haven't seen anything come in, I haven't seen any bills, so usually those take 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Just a few notes that Staub gave me to go over. Bid notice went out for the salt and sand storage building. I don't know
Mhm.
what the date is on
Uh,
that. Do you know, Tim?
Well, Tim had, what was it, on Tuesday?
Tuesday.
He had a group of potential bidders come up
Okay,
with the Delta group
okay.
and was showing the area.
All right. So I'm not sure when we'll be getting those in, but
I think
what the date
Leo,
was.
yeah, Leo's got,
Like December 12th, something like that, I was thinking.
yeah, sometime there.
Is there a start time on that, Ted?
No, they had,
Construction start?
they were discussing that with the engineer and everything too, they didn't wanna get into a thing, cause the winter's gonna take a lot longer. They didn't wanna lock into like a certain period of time to do it there.
Right.
He said he could lengthen it out probably, cause he knew it's gonna take longer.
But is it gonna start this winter, or are they gonna wait until spring?
A couple of contractors said if they could get going and get the bids out if they wanted, they're gonna start this year.
They are.
They're ready to go.
Bids will be received until 3 PM on the 17th day of November, and then publicly opened and read aloud at Chazy Town Hall.
That'd be,
So we would go over them at the December 12th meeting.
Yeah.
Unless we call an early meeting.
you know, they specify the day they're gonna be open there.
Yeah, the that day, 17th.
Tim's gonna open
No,
it.
that's the date they're due in.
They're due with the 17th.
Oh,
No, he said that day was gonna
And
open.
then publicly opened.
Right. On December 12th, right?
No, we're
Oh,
just,
yeah.
I didn't say that.
Oh, Tim said 12th.
Oh, you're so confused.
I think December 12th was me. Okay.
Where did I just?
If
So
we
when
get,
they're gonna be open?
To me, it's not, the way I read it, it's gonna be open right at 3 o'clock when
At
they
the
got
town
until
garage.
3 o'clock to
Yeah.
get them in here. Then
Right.
publicly open.
So we're gonna have to have a meeting.
well, maybe we would have the information back about the banks, and
No,
we would
it-
incorporate.
Well,
both.
they go over them first, I would think, when they open.
Tim's gonna go over them,
Yeah.
and then
Okay.
he's gonna present it to the board with the bid that he thinks is gonna be the best one for the job.
Right.
But maybe we could still incorporate the two
I'm
items.
assuming somebody from ATA will be here to
Right.
open. Either that or I'll open.
There There you go.
Somebody will open them.
Just, we got a, Pat was awarded 20 years of service by New York State Assessors Association. Everybody got
Yeah.
a copy
Yes,
of that.
congratulations
Congratulations to her. And I think the only other thing that we have, that he wanted to get a feel on was the, certificate of occupancy packet that he had, I think he sent it out 2 months ago. The thing that the village of Fort Henry had adopted,
Oh,
he
yeah.
wanted to know if
Yep.
we had an opinion on that, if anybody remembers
Yes, I was the-
reading that, or
Vaguely remember that.
basically
Refresh.
requiring a certificate of occupancy anytime someone moves in and out of a
An apartment.
apartment or a house, or
Even an apartment, so if you go
Yeah.
and rent a place,
it would cost the landlord $25 to have the building inspector go out and inspect it to make sure that it
Wow.
meets all the codes.
we are talking about major work for.
But we need a full-time
Exactly.
building.
Code enforcement, how
Right.
do that?
Yeah,
I don't know, if anybody wants to take a minute to read it, if you
Yeah, I know.
don't
Yeah, I
remember.
looked it over quickly, but
Yeah. Well, he had done the list to go over for, if anybody has opinions on it, or, Bill, do you have an opinion?
I haven't seen it, no.
Oh, you haven't
I
seen
had
it?
seen some other.
I thought he had emailed it to you.
I thought I had.
Yeah.
see, I guess
See, I guess the problem that I have is there's already been a certificate of occupancy issued on a lot of these places. So if it's already been issued, why do we have to keep going out repeatedly and reissuing a certificate? I think the only time that you'd have to recertify that is if somebody put in a formal complaint, or a tenant or somebody where there's
Right.
a problem.
I did see this local law, but I had questioned, I had emailed Scott back about it because I thought some of this, I didn't know this was what he was keying in on or what he wanted to do with this. What I was thinking he was talking about was the penalty section, you know, if you don't get a certificate of occupancy and whatnot. I
Yeah.
didn't realize he was focusing in on or thinking that
The whole
every
thing,
time,
yeah.
that's a bit much.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I mean, you would definitely need a full-time
absolutely.
code inspector.
what we do with what we discussed about people going to Florida and wanting their water shut off, and we had the thing with the library and
Right.
house at the Presbyterian Church.
But that was water and sewer.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
completely
like,
This is occupancy.
This is
It's
just-
totally different.
if somebody this is a law basically saying that if you have an apartment and one tenant moves out, the building inspector has to come do an inspection on it before you can let somebody else move in, and you have to pay $25 to have them do it. Each time a tenant moves out, it has to have a new certificate of occupancy.
I think it's-
I
I disagree with it.
I
think it's too
completely
much.
disagree with it.
Mhm.
We have our hands in on our stuff.
Well,
But
it's
I
enforcing.
think if somebody were to.
Well,
Yeah.
enforcing it, yeah, I mean, if there's something complaint driven,
Yeah.
Right,
now,
that's what I'm saying.
That's
That's
Complaint driven is
then
not.
that's
right,
different.
but I mean, I don't know if they were having huge problems, or, I mean, we have a couple
Yeah.
of problems, but I mean, we would get crucified for
Yeah.
something like that, and rightfully so.
Mhm. I agree. Everybody's.
Like I said, I think it only needs to be done on a complaint-driven basis.
Yeah.
That's-
Moving in should be able to make their own decision.
Right, if they don't wanna move there, they should move there,
Really,
right,
yeah.
Right. Mhm.
That's my feeling.
Yeah, I agree, so,
Mhm.
if we're in agreement that
Yes,
we,
well, I
Makes
agree.
sense. all right. And I think, I'd just like to congratulate all the winners in the recent election also. And Christmas decorations, thank you for everybody involved in putting those up, they look good. People are commenting on them. I'd also like to thank the West Chazy Fire Department Ladies Auxiliary, held a trunk or treat for the first time
Oh,
at the
nice.
fire department in West Chazy, and it was very well attended. Very, very nice. Probably had 150 kids or so come through, and they're already planning on expanding it next year. But it was a very nice community event.
It's nice to hear that, because I went to Rochester for Halloween, and what they did down there, two of their fire departments, is they actually drove the fire trucks down, roads, and they came down the road that my daughter lives on, with their lights flashing, and they would
Mhm.
stop and get out and hand out treats to the kids and give them safety tips,
All right.
Oh,
nice.
And I thought,
Yeah.
at first, we thought there was a fire or something. And then four guys, guy and two women, three women, they come out and handed out candies, and we inquired about it, and they said, oh, we do this every year.
Nice.
This is our way of, staying out there in the community.
Right.
And so it's great to hear that.
Yeah.
What Chazy's
It was
doing.
very, very well received. A lot
Can
of positive comments.
I just make one comment about the election too?
Sure.
In the past, what has always happened, as you all very well know, is that people came to the town hall for the election results. And all the recounts came into Chazy from West Chazy. And that has all changed, where Chazy has its own tallies, and then West Chazy has its own tallies, but nobody conveys back and forth as far as what the different voting machines' tallies were. Is there any way that that can be changed, where there could be some type of communication back, so that,
That's normally the workers usually.
It's up
Well,
to
in
the
the past,
parties.
have called, which
yeah, there was this,
See, last year I did it and I was gone this year.
No, but it's up to the parties, isn't it? Pretty
Well,
much.
No, like last year I
In the
called
past.
Linda and she just gave me the numbers and I read them out,
I used to always pick up the bags
I know
at
you did.
Chazy and
Yeah.
then came here
Yeah.
last. And usually somebody made a phone call from here to the
Right.
West Chazy, giving their info from here.
So basically,
But
Yeah.
this year I was totally out of the loop
yeah, there was no.
because I went to the
communication.
Board of Election, they said I had nothing to do with it this year, so.
Really?
No, the coordinators did all the picking up and delivery,
Okay, but I don't know if we could set something where
which is fine with me.
each hall have a contact number next year where they can call each other and give each other the numbers if they're not gonna drive back and forth like it's always done in the past, because
Right.
I was here for election night after, for 9 o'clock, and Sam was here. And, all that we had were the tallies for Chazy.
Well, also through the years too, usually, even though I was bringing that information back and forth, the candidates usually got a hold of somebody in the other place to give them a
Oh, yeah.
call.
The parties just take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would have been for you to
Call
contact somebody there, over there, much easier to call you.
Right.
Okay, I was
Because
just.
the county's not gonna do it.
It's in here.
Pardon me?
The county won't do it.
No.
Or get on your computer and within a half hour, they have the information right down the
Well,
election
I just
website.
thought, maybe the people that were working here that night, I know that there was another person here that was waiting for the other tallies from West Chazy too, so.
They're limited to what they can
Just,
do.
that's just my 2 cents worth, so do as you wish with it.
Yeah, it's kind of up to the candidates, I think, that need to do that, because the election workers have been here since 5 in the morning.
I know.
By the time it's 9:30 at night, they're ready to go home, they're not thinking about,
And we need
All
to
of
thank,
us on an hour.
thank those people, because they do, 4 o'clock in the morning, they're up and they're here
Yes.
till 9 o'clock, and
No,
so
I
we
think
gotta
it's,
thank them for all that they do.
it's definitely up to the party to do the communicating on that.
The only other thing, and we have a resolution in here about it also, but is, now that Tim is elected, we'd like to move him into the remainder of Dick's term, to fulfill the remainder of the term now that he's been elected. But there's a resolution in here
For his wages.
for the wages.
Now, with that being said, will
Does he pick a deputy now, or does he wait until his term in January?
So you can pick a deputy, because that's vacant now, and if he's gonna be appointed, you can pick a deputy.
I would almost say technically you probably need to wait till the December meeting.
Yeah, you gotta wait.
Because
I think-
the Board of Elections doesn't actually certify this election until later this
But
month.
Leo, you're talking about appointing him tonight, is what I just heard.
Right,
No, appointing him,
right.
Yes.
not appointing him. It's authorizing him to get the balance of the
The salary,
highway
Salary,
superintendent's salary.
okay.
he wasn't
Oh, it's
elected.
only to give the salary, not
Yes,
the position. Oh, I misunderstood that.
Yeah, I thought you.
Yeah.
The
Appointed to
election,
fill the-
he automatically is, once it's certified, he's automatically the highway superintendent, so he jumps into that role. But Susan thought that we should have a resolution just saying that, authorizing him to receive, once he's certified, to receive the balance of the highway superintendent's wages for
Salary.
this year.
I couldn't,
But you don't need to do that, because it is
Right.
automatic, once they certify the.
If you don't need to.
No, I'm just saying,
She
it's
was
automatic,
saying-
once they certify the election, he automatically gets bumped because it's a vacant office. I thought you were talking about
No.
appointing him now to
Well,
fill that
That's
vacancy,
what I
No.
understood.
No,
Well,
Yeah.
that's, I guess that's the way I.
which would then bump him immediately, and he could appoint a
That's
deputy.
that
Right.
resolution.
That's the way I understood it.
I
too.
kinda thought that myself, but Susan said she
Okay.
thought that it needed a
You
resolution.
can,
Well-
yeah, I didn't know, I thought, just to
Yeah,
make sure.
because,
that-
because it is a vacant, you never filled the vacancy.
Right.
So it's a vacant office, and then anytime there's a vacant office, once the election is certified, he will be sworn in and take the position.
Okay,
Okay. So I guess at the next meeting then, if you will.
see, back when I went through that, I couldn't accept any salary when George passed away until the next election, and that person got elected, and he received the supervisor's pay, not me.
Yeah, but.
Because they had
The board
paid
had
me, and I
voted
had
to-
to give it back to them.
Yeah, but the board voted, he's been filling the role of highway superintendent, I understand, because he was the deputy superintendent.
Correct.
But if the board had decided to fill the vacancy, and, could have filled it with anyone,
Anyone, right.
and then, which would have expired December 31st, and if Tim had then been elected, he would not get that salary or take that position until January 1. But since you left the office vacant, my understanding is that then, once his
Yes.
election is certified,
When
he
he's
does-
certified, he's automatically in.
correct.
okay.
Okay. I guess we didn't skip that one. Okay.
Ready for
We're on to
resolutions?
resolutions.
Okay, first resolution is adopting the annual town budget for 2012.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Councilor Lattimore made the motion, seconded by Councilor Trombley, for the resolution adopting the annual budget for 2012. Any discussion? Roll call, Councilor Lattimore,
Yes.
Councilor Dino,
Yes.
Councilor Devons,
Yes,
Councilor Trombley,
Yes,
absent, Supervisor Speed. Next one is a resolution adopting Chazy fire protection contract for the Chazy district.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Councilor Lattimore made the motion, second by Councilor Devons. Any further discussion? Roll call, Councilor Lattimore,
Yes.
Councilor Dino,
Yes.
Councilor Devons,
Yes,
Councilor Trombley,
yes,
absent Supervisor Speed. Next one is a resolution adopting Chazy fire protection contract, West Chazy district.
Make the
I'll make the
motion.
mo,
Councilor Trombley made the motion, seconded Councilor Lattimore.
You got it.
Any further discussion? Roll call, Councilor Lattimore,
Yes.
Councilor Dino,
Yes.
Councilor Devons,
yes,
Councilor Trombley,
yes,
absent, Supervisor Spiegel. Next one's appointment to the Board of Assessment Review. It's a reappointment of Betty Haywood.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Counselor Lattimore made the motion, second by Counselor Devens. Any discussion? Roll call, Counselor Lattimore.
Yes?
Counselor Dino.
Yes.
Counselor Devens.
Yes.
Counselor Trombley.
Yes.
Absent Supervisor Spiegel. Shared Services Contract with Town of Plattsburgh.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Counselor Lattimore made the motion, second by Counselor Devens. Any further discussion? Roll call, Counselor Lattimore.
Yes?
Counselor Dino.
Yes.
Counselor Devens.
Yes.
Counselor Trombley.
Yes.
Absent Supervisor Spiegel. We will skip to the budget transfers. 2011 budget transfers.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Counselor Lattimore made the motion, seconded by Counselor Trombley. Any discussion? Roll call, Counselor Lattimore.
Yes?
Counselor Dino.
Yes.
Counselor Devens.
Yes.
Counselor Trombley.
Yes.
Absent Supervisor Spiegel. Next, payment of claims.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Counselor Devens made the motion, seconded by Counselor Lattimore. Any discussion? Roll call, Counselor Lattimore.
Yes?
Counselor Dino.
Yes.
Counselor Devens.
Yes.
Counselor Trombley.
Yes.
Absent Supervisor Spiegel. That's all I have.
Should we set another date for December? Then you have your last meeting date in December,
Usually do that in December, at the December meeting.
or the December meeting. Yeah,
Could be easier than maybe.
Okay, so two.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay, meeting's adjourned.
That's a record.
We don't want to hit them, number one, but I've had some actual residents come in and say, thank you very much for putting those up, and
It's a
so.
long time coming on those, I think. I think it's been needed for a while. I have a couple suggestions that I came up with for the board to consider as far as possibly making some resolutions on. And one of the things was that I was driving around for businesses, is that I noticed that there's a lot of clear cutting taking place, where people are going in wooded area, they're clear cutting a lot of wood down. And of course, what happens when you start going clear cutting in the wintertime, it just allows that much more movement for the snow and drifting to get into the public highways. So I didn't know if the town could possibly make some type of resolution that for property owners that did do clear cutting, like from this point forward, that they would be obligated to plant some type of trees to be a wind barrier, or to have them erect some type of snow fence.
Can you ask homeowners to do that when farmers are clearing land left and right, and the same situations occurring?
But that's what I'm saying though, is that if you have that happening down the road, that, you know, that there would be some type of barrier that, you know, would protect our
So what
roads.
do you do about the people who aren't clearing off land right now, but have the same situation, they don't have roads along the road, and it drifts in front of their property?
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that you would move forward from this point forward as far as, you know, there's clear cutting to take place. I don't know, just food for thought.
It's gonna be a tough one, Chris. That's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, I just don't, first of all, I don't see, I really don't see what right we would have to tell people, you will put up a snow barrier of some kind, a barrier of some kind, prevent drift in the road, just because they choose to clear their land.
Well, I see like the state has done that along the interstate,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to prevent the snow drifting.
Yeah, they usually do that only after there's a serious accident too.
Well, in this way, that's what you're trying to prevent now.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
mean,
just don't see
That's
how.
also in the state right away that they're planting, not in somebody else's property.
right, but,
I know what you're saying, but I don't think that's a solution to it, but that's.
I don't know, I mean, I'm just trying to think to
Yeah.
prevent things from down the road that could happen. I mean, you know, do you think, do it now or do it after the fact? That's
Well,
all
I
I'm
guess the
saying.
point that I'm trying to make is that we can't always, you know, and it's unfortunate, but we can't always do things that are going to prevent, we don't know what the future is going to be, we don't know, You know, at one point where somebody might plant trees, it might not even be a place where it would even drift to begin with, and yet we're going to be telling people you need to put up plant trees or put up a snow barrier, and, you know, it might not even be an issue at that point.
No, but that's
At another point
where you,
somebody currently hasn't cleared their land or anything, there could possibly exist the danger there, so, by good rights, if
well,
we're
I
gonna do it, then
I
tell
think
everybody.
I think what you'd have to do is look at it at the time that they come to get a permit or something, and when they start doing whatever to the land, to see if it would generate some type of liability hazard down the road. I don't know, just something I was thinking about that I saw where, you know, there's a lot of potential of a lot of blowing snow getting into the highways. The second resolution that I thought that the board should really consider of is, it would primarily pertain to maybe commercial buildings, that if the commercial building becomes vacant or is demoed, then the vacant land or building shall hold the same assessment value as the building did when it was assessed.
How can you do that?
So like, let's say for example, I don't know, let's use a commercial building, Chazy Hardware. They're assessed for $200,000. And they decided that they wanted to demo that building. Then that property value should remain at the $200,000.
I don't know how you're gonna do that.
You can't do that.
By destroying the building's gone, you just have the value of the land. That's it, it's
Right,
very,
you're
it's
saying,
vacant land.
but
I
you
mean,
could
you
say
don't have
that
the
the
building
value of the
value.
land is the same with the building on it or not.
And that would
it's
be
not
the
true.
same with somebody who's putting up a house, and if it takes them 3 years to finish it, you're going to assess them at what the house would be valued when it's completed, when they might only have their cellar in. How can you do that?
They do, after 1 year, you're supposed to be assessed for the full value of the property. Isn't that?
That's the market value of the property. So if it's only half complete, quite obvious, market value is not the same as what a completed house would be. Because nobody's gonna mortgage your property, give you mortgage money on a unfinished home.
What would you think as a property owner, if you own a piece of property and
Yeah.
you decide you wanna take down the building and because the building was no good anymore and you were still assessed for $300,000 when the land itself is only worth $10,000 or $15,000? I don't think you'd like that very well.
I know,
Well,
I know.
but I think what you have to do is you have to look at the community as well, as far as what adverse effect does that have on the community.
What adverse effect does it have?
Well, number one is, if all of a sudden they tear down that building and now the property's worth $10,000, okay, now you just lost $290,000 off from your assessment, your tax roll.
The same as if it burned though, Chris, if it burns, if the house burns, you can't leave that property $290,000, it has to go down to, $10,000 if that's what the market value of that property is.
Right,
It'd be
but-
more than 10,000, just saying.
But I'm saying that you would use it more like on a commercial value. I don't know, that's just, something that I was thinking of,
I would say, if after hearing this, and if I thought it would really fly, that I would never put a business up in Chazy. Because if anything happens, I'm going to be assessed at whatever the value is, and I
You
would
couldn't do it
say,
in New York state law, you have
No way.
to assess the property of what it's worth now.
And I think you're dealing with a separate set of laws. I mean, you're talking about passing a town resolution, but there are laws regarding assessments and property owners' rights to challenge assessments and file assessment reviews that I don't think you can affect by a resolution, just artificially stating that a property is gonna hold that value. I mean, that the state laws are going to control that situation and protect the individual's right to challenge the assessment if they feel it's unfair. And that's a legal process that anyone can use, commercial or individual.
Okay. That's it?
Kathy?
any word with Pfizer, any updates with Wire?
Actually, that was one of the items on my list. I did attend a meeting last Wednesday, and I'm gonna be attending a meeting again tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, but We had 50 additional people in Chazy that were let go on Friday, last Friday. There is still a party that's in serious talks with Pfizer. It's an investment group, and apparently they, from what we understand, is they don't want the whole building, they want part of the building, but they have pretty much told us, the lady that, you know, is in negotiations with them, that at this point, it's more of a long shot than anything. So it's not really looking that positive. There are gonna be more layoffs, I believe at the end of this month. And then I believe Chazy is gonna be pretty much done by July. So there has been no new hopes.
Okay. Has Beacontown School contacted us about the tennis court?
I've tried to get a hold of Mr. Amos, I've left him messages, sent him emails. I don't know if he's trying to avoid me, but I can't get a hold of him.
Okay. JCEO, any word yet on whether?
They have hired a full-time person, I believe it's Jerry Marking's sister, I think, she moved back in the area, she applied for the job and she's got it,
So
so.
she is a resident of Chazy?
West Chazy.
West Chazy.
I don't know her name, but is it Barbara?
Okay. We were going to go out for bid for several things, one being fuel piano, the other being the repairs on the eaves and windows. Have we?
We have the bids we're gonna open tonight.
Okay, great. Has Bob inspected B&D Salvage and Alan Looney's junkyard? I know we granted their junkyard permits, but Bob is supposed to go out and make sure that they are in compliance.
He gave me the okay to do the junkyard.
Yeah, before we did the
He did give you okay.
resolutions, he gave us the okay, said they were in compliance.
Okay, because I was under the impression that he hadn't been out yet, but he would be.
My understanding was that he did go out and inspect them and make sure they were in compliance before we did the resolution.
We did the resolutions contingent that he would give the okay, and it was a day or two later when I saw him, and he said that, yes, I could go ahead and issue.
Okay, okay. And have you had a chance to do the ride around, because I went around town.
I haven't, but I did mention it to Bob.
Okay. Just curious,
Yep, I
you know,
have
maybe
that
with
idea.
spring coming
Yep.
along, hopefully people are cleaning up and so forth. That's all I have.
I'm just gonna go over a few items real quick and then we'll open up the bids. So we gave the Pfizer update. We do have, Heidi, a contract with Time Warner that we talked about the last meeting.
Okay.
And we do have some requests for some additional items we can negotiate with them for the contract. Should I send those on to Bill
Sure.
to be included? One of them, we have some streets that we were wondering if we could get included for cable service.
Okay.
And I have the names of the streets. But also, the school did give me a letter stating that in 2005, apparently Time Warner did bring part of the cable service to parts of the school. It says most of the classrooms in the elementary as well as the junior high, senior high are without cable coverage now, so they would like to have parts of the school being able to receive cable, so we're gonna include that. And that was a letter directed from Kevin Mulligan.
That was junior high and senior high, you said?
Yeah, it says most of the classrooms in the elementary as well as the junior high and senior high are without cable coverage now. So they would like to see if we could get those classrooms cabled. And then I will send Bill some of the street addresses that we would like to see if we can get possible cable service to. Worth a try.
What about cable here for the event, we had spoken about possibly having cable in the event of emergency, so you could, you know,
For the
watch
town
it on
hall?
TV or whatever at the town hall,
Yeah,
or in
we
the
have
event of
cable now.
emergency as a communication.
We don't have cable service now,
No,
no, so we can include the town hall.
supposedly years ago, they had said they could.
I know in the emergency management, when we talked about that, that was one of the things that Kelly always suggested, that we have that provided here at the town hall in the event of an emergency.
Okay, we'll include that then.
Anyway, I got a letter today from Time Warner, I should, within the next 5 or 6 days, get a check from them for last year. It's up to 19,000 in fees that we get.
Everybody hear that? We're gonna be
That's
getting a
great.
check for some 19,000 from Warner
Good.
for fees. Okay, so we'll take care of that. I just wanna let everybody know too that, and Dick, that I did talk to, Adele Douglas the other day, and we have resubmitted our application for the salt storage building. She was just waiting for another bit of information, but apparently we have to do this in order to be in line for that grant again. So I'm having her resubmit it, just to keep us in the loop.
Yep.
So. And that's all I have tonight, I believe. Am I missing anything, right? All right, so we'll move to resolutions, and then we'll do the opening of the bids.
Do the resolution first?
Oh, we can, whatever. You want to do the bids first? Oh, let's do the bids first.
Because we might be doing motions on the, based on the bids, right?
Okay, I'll open these two here first, I was going to say, that's right there. Look for cutting down trees. Okay. Okay, the first one I have is we're doing the opening for the cutting down of the ash tree. The bid is $475 from Commercial Site Services, 14 Latour Avenue, Plattsburgh, New York. And they have a non-collusive bidding certificate.
I think it's taking the top thing.
They're just, our bid was to cut down the trees to the stump, and our highway departments can come in and chop it up and grind the stump. It's just to lay the tree down, basically.
Isn't that a really big tree?
It's, yeah, there's 2 good-sized trees there,
That's cheap.
but they apparently come and see them.
Okay. And the other one here is Sawyer's Construction, Lake Placid, New York. $485. So that one's higher, right? And they have a non-collusive bidding certificate. Okay, so that's those 2. Okay, the repair of the town hall. So replacement of deteriorated soffits and eaves, repainting exterior town hall soffits, eaves, trim, repair of exterior windows and painting, any other maintenance items regarding building trim. Repair and painting bid $21,500 from Theodore Stay and Sons, 14 Casey Loop Road, Plattsburgh.